So breaking just moments ago, Fulton County, Georgia DA Fani Willis reportedly are now asking a court to reinstate 6 criminal charges against former President Trump and his co-defendants. That's according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Now, you remember that the judge threw out some of these charges in March, saying that they were not specific enough. The case is on hold right now while an appeals court considers whether Willis should step aside. The judge let her stay on after the former prosecutor Nathan Wade stepped down after there were revelations and questions about their romantic relationship and the ethics surrounding that case. And as I said, some of those charges were dropped. Now she's trying to bring them back. All right, on that and other things, let's bring in Corey Lewandowski, Trump 2024 senior official. Corey, good to have you with us today. I find it interesting that the efforts to bring these cases back do not seem to be central in any of the campaigning. And for a while, it felt like all of this, lawfare or whatever you want to call it, was going to be one of the major centers of the thrust of the Harris campaign, of the Democrats' campaign. What do you think's going on there?
Well, clearly the Biden-Harris administration wanted to use a two-tier justice system to go after Donald Trump, probably first to try and push him out of the race, probably try to intimidate him with the raid on his home at Mar-a-Lago. But what we've seen is that Donald Trump is a fighter. He's fought back. This has been a political prosecution against him in the cases in Georgia, in the case in Florida with Jack Smith, in the case in Washington, D.C., and obviously the case in New York. And it has only emboldened his supporters to support him more because he has said many times, and I believe it, that he's the only thing standing between the federal government coming after them is Donald Trump.
So I guess what I was getting at is, do you think that voters didn't respond to that? You know, that they didn't really run with it, that it wasn't a successful, all of this stuff gets poll tested with voters. Do you think that it didn't really work?
Yeah, the voters don't care about it, Martha. What they care about is the pocketbook issues, and they ask the age-old question, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? And by every discernible metric, the answer is no. So when you can't put gas in your car or food on your table, or as we come into the fall, home heating oil into your homes, they don't care about the political prosecutions as an issue that they want to vote against Donald Trump for. They want to vote for themselves. They want to make sure that we've got a secure border so that their families are safe. But most importantly, and every polling data indicates it, it's the economy, stupid, as the old saying goes.
Well, we see that in all the polling, and I just find it fascinating when you consider all the time and effort that was put into all of those cases that you barely hear about them anymore, although they're sort of sputtering up here and there as they try to revive them. We mentioned in the tease, Corey, this question that Harris seems to be focusing on right now. She's got 20 days to go, and she's calling the former president unhinged, unfit, all of this stuff. I just want to remind people that Hillary Clinton did something very similar at the end of the 2016 race. Let's remind people. Let's take a look at what she was doing.
His latest Twitter meltdown is unhinged.
Temperamentally unfit and totally unqualified to be president and commander-in-chief.
He has proven himself unfit. We've never had someone so unqualified and unfit to be president and commander-in-chief.
So we know why how that worked out. Did you find it curious that this is a thrust with 20 days to go here from the other side?
Well, it's a desperate tactic because you've got a candidate in Vice President Harris who has no policies that are going to benefit the American people. So you try and make the election, in her case, about Donald Trump's temperament. The difference is when people can't feed themselves and they're afraid of that we are now the laughingstock around the world because of our terrible foreign policy. We see our allies around the world don't respect us. Our enemies don't fear us, all because of the vice president and her running mate's administration. Look, I understand you want to say that Donald Trump said some mean tweets. Well, that's okay when you can feed your family and you put gas in your car and you can make sure that you get safety and security at home. But the fact is that Vice President Harris continues to have no policies that will benefit the American people. So she wants to make this a referendum on Donald Trump's Twitter account. We'll take that fight all day.
There are some reports that within the Harris camp, there are some people that are concerned that she's not keeping an active enough day, that she's not hitting enough places throughout the day. Are there any concerns within the Trump campaign or any disagreements among the Trump team about strategy as you head into these 20 days?
Look, the answer is no. We're completely unified, and your viewers see this every day. Donald Trump is doing multiple events a day in multiple locations. On Monday, we started in Pennsylvania, and we ended up finishing up in Illinois so he could be at an event in Chicago that he then flew to Atlanta and did 2 events down there. Today, he's done 3 events in the state of Florida. Tomorrow, he'll be back in New York. As you know, we've got the Al Smith dinner and 2 other events. So Donald Trump has a tenacious schedule, and the battleground states continue to be deployed by all of our surrogates, including the president.
Yeah, you're right. The Al Smith dinner's tomorrow night. Huge event for Catholic voters in particular, which make up a very important part of the electorate. And Harris has chosen not to be at that dinner. The last person who wasn't at the dinner was Walter Mondale back in 1984 from the Democrat side. Corey, thank you very much. Always good to check in with you. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.